In a world where the truth isn't always what it seems, four masters of real estate step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's the Fantastic Four of Real Estate with their host, Tom Platania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And yes, you heard it right. We're changing the way you spell TREU. Why, you might ask? Well, not just because it's the acronym for our show, T for Treasure Coast, R and E for real estate, and U for Unleashed, but think about it. You know, we're always being told things are true. Here's the truth. Believe me, it's the truth. You know, the infamous words from Bill Clinton, "I did not have sexual relations with that girl." Now, we thought that was supposed to be the truth, right? Well, then there's the saying, "Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see." Well, we're going to change that way of thinking. So we had to change the way you see the truth. Education is the key, and that is why the E is first in TREU, T-R-E-U. Now, if you're just joining us, you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, as you said, TREU Radio. You can call at 772-220-9788. And each week, right here on WSTU 1450 and all over social media, like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Blog Talk, and go on and on. And if all those names kind of made you confused, well, don't worry. We'll help you out. And our show website is TREUradio.com. That's T-R-E-U radio.com, and where you can listen to the shows, the audio and video live in the studio each week. Now, you can chat your questions to us and also see all the archive shows that we do over the weeks. Now, we'll focus on hot topics and also the hot messes in the real estate market. Now, as you know, over the past 5 years, there have been many hot messes. But, you know, you have no fear. It's not me, you know, your enthusiastic, great-looking host. Now, remember, I said believe none of what you hear, okay? Who will be providing this information. It's four of the top realtors in South Florida with over 100 years of experience. Now, so without further ado, here is the Fantastic Four of real estate. All right, and we're going to start with introductions. We have four wonderful people in the studio. You know, and when I started thinking Fantastic Four, you know, I'm always trying to put these things in my head, and I started thinking, I don't know if you folks know, you know the movie Fantastic Four? Mm-hmm. You guys ever seen that movie?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, kind of think of the characters. So, now, obviously, we already know who Jessica Alba is. And for some reason, that's the only name I actually remember. So, of course, I was thinking, you know, the other character for you, Scott, would, you know.
I know I'm Ben Grimm, right? How did I saw that one coming.
I just haven't figured out which one's Flash and which one's Stretch out of Farouk and Andrew. So.
Oh, we'll eventually get to it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, well, let's introduce one of our first expert real estate agents here, Realtors, is Carol Morgan. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
How are you, young lady?
I'm good today, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So, okay, we decided to start this show, but we wanted some people that had something to bring to the table. Now, that's why I'm just going to be the host. I'm really not going to participate as an expert realtor because I would really mislead people, probably like a lot of other realtors that we have out there that mislead people. But tell us a little bit about your history and what really makes you a good fit to help our listeners learn about education and real estate.
Well, I've always been a firm believer that real estate, people have never really been what we call real educated in real estate. And now that, you know, the times have turned, things have changed throughout the years. And with Keller Williams, we believe highly in education. We educate our realtors. It's part of their model. And if you want to learn, it's there for you to learn.
Right.
I've been in the business, between mortgage business, for 25 years, and here in Martin County now for 8 years in real estate. It's been a learning curve.
Martin County's a beautiful area, though, isn't it?
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, I love it here. And every time I have to drive, up to the other radio show that I do, I pass through some of the other communities. And it's like, God, isn't there any way they could move like the radio station back down here into Martin County?
Yeah. Once you live in Martin County, it's very hard to leave Martin County.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got that cozy, comfortable feeling to it.
It does.
It doesn't have that high-paced, fast city living, and it's.
Plus, we don't have the major growth that a lot of other areas are experiencing. So, it's very comfortable here. You've got all the water you want here.
Sailfish capital of the world, right?
Absolutely.
The world or United States?
I think it's
Probably
the world.
It's the world, yeah. And if you're a fisherman, that's definitely the place to come. Definitely.
Yeah, we have more water here in Martin County than anywhere else. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I don't know how we'll go back next, but I figured we'd start with age, and I guess with Andrew first.
Age? We're gonna go with age.
I'm just teasing, Andrew. All right. Next, we have one of our fantastic four of real estate. We have Mr. Andrew Sesta. Morning, sir.
Morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I tell you, I didn't sleep at all. This show had me just a nervous
I'm
wreck.
telling you, me too. I think I got maybe 2 hours of sleep last night.
With my show, I don't have anybody to really, turn to, or not turn to, but anybody that I have to give something. I mean, I wake up, I do the show, but with you guys being on, I needed to make sure that I gave you the best I possibly could. So I was a nervous wreck. I was up late. I'm double checking my notes. I'm like, I got to give him a good show. So, but tell us about yourself, Andrew, and kind of what makes you a key figure and want to be on the radio with us.
Well, I've been in Martin County since 1976, Tom.
Jeez.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
I was only a couple years old then.
Yeah, it was. They didn't have cars back then. But anyway, my family came down here from New York when I was 12, so it was kind of culture shock. Stuart really. We had one movie theater. With you had your choice of one or two movies to see, a couple of grocery stores, and that was about it. But so I kind of grew up here. I went to high school here, Martin County High School, and graduated in Martin County. And in '88, I moved up to Port St. Lucie when I got the job at the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, what did you do there?
Yeah, well, I worked in the jail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did that.
That's where I remember you from.
I thought so.
God, those
Especially
cavity
when you were wearing
searches
that
were
orange.
crazy.
Yeah, you were wearing orange the other day. Gave me flashbacks. But anyway, so I worked for the Sheriff's Department for quite a number of years and moved around to worked at the state prison. In law enforcement. Also worked in restaurants. Cooking has been my passion for years. As you can tell. Anyway, so I've been in the community for quite a long time. I know the area, and I've seen it grow tremendously. Like I said, when I moved here, my parents used to always take our family up US 1 to this place called Port St. Lucie because there was a shell bazaar with a big shell. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah. And they would sell little, souvenirs. So it felt like we were driving for hours from Stewart, but. Port St. Lucie has grown. So,
yeah.
I really know the area and have been around it for quite a while.
Good, excellent. And that's the key is, you have to have realtors that, live and work in the area, because then they can truly see the day-to-day activities that are going on. Somebody who's just, farming an area up in Vero Beach and they live in Martin County, they have no clue what would be going on, or vice versa.
Can't do it justice.
No, absolutely not. You start asking about schools and, what's going on and what kind of events are happening in the community. If you don't live there, maybe you as a realtor, you'll go on some website and you'll say, oh, well, there's this and that. It's just, you got to have somebody that really has the true feel for what's going on. So, and then we have a couple other young men that are with us as well. But how about we go with Mr. Farouk Ali? Farouk, good morning.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
Oh, great.
Good.
Glad to have you guys here. I'm excited.
I guess I'm like everyone else, a nervous wreck this morning for several reasons. We were enjoying great weather here while up north.
Oh.
I'm sorry for my folks there.
I was watching CNBC this morning about that.
Now. Originally, I'm from South America, Guyana, and I moved up to New York in the early 80s. I've been in the business I've got licensed since 1985.
Wow. Okay.
Went on my own in '89. I've been on my own until I joined this wonderful group of Keller Williams because of its models and what I see it can do. When you've been in the business for a while and you've tried and failed on your own with so many different things, and you get an opportunity to be with a company that offer extensively training. To be honest, I feel like I've gotten 10 years younger because of all the technology and everything that I'm now trying to catch up with.
Yeah, your beard shows that.
Yeah, of course, and
that New York accent that he has.
I remember having lunch with my mom one day, and she turned to my sister and she said, "Why is he dyeing the hair on his head and he's not dyeing his beard?" So I had to go over to her and say, "Hey, this is how it is. It's just that this is getting grayer." Anyways, I've gotten very involved in the real estate business in New York. I had the opportunity to work with some wonderful people while I was up in New York. I went through the ranks really with the board of Realtors there, and I ended up being president of the Realtor Association in New York for 2 years.
Oh, that had to be an experience.
1997 to 1999.
I can imagine what you.
That had afforded me an opportunity to network with other realtors throughout the United States. And one of the things that got me going was we had just started this international section, and they came out with a new designation, which is a Certified International Property Specialist. And I was networking with some other realtors out of Miami who, at the time, they were so big on this international real estate. And I said, maybe there's something to this, so I better get involved. So I got on board, and in 2000, I was designated as Certified International Property Specialist in San Francisco.
Wow.
And I saw that as a pathway because in 1989, I was coming to Florida. I was doing business from Miami to Deltona, and I had an opportunity with a company I guess everybody knows, General Development, and they were set. So I had at those days the opportunity to see different parts of Florida. And whenever I go back to New York, I would say to people, I think when I'm ready to die, this is the place I want to go because
Florida or New York?
You got to be careful what you wish for. Here today, I'm living here.
Well, at least you're living. That's
yes,
the die here.
And I'm really enjoying it. So
awesome.
I saw when you look at all the stats and everything that's happening and all the foreign nationals that we've got that is coming and of all the states really that they're gravitating towards to Florida. And I said, you know what, I guess this is where I need to build some roots.
Excellent.
So, 10, 11 years ago, I opened my first office in Boynton Beach. And since then, I've been networking. I do a little bit of traveling to go to different countries. I go to Toronto very often as well.
Very nice.
And,
you're telling me about some training you do up there.
For real estate. Yeah. Actually, in May, the Palm Beach Board of Realtors, we're going, 12 of us is going to Toronto. TREU, which is Toronto Real Estate Board, is having their convention.
Wonderful.
And we're going to have a booth there again. Last year, 2012, I actually took 9 other realtors with myself. We attended, and in 2 days, there were over 10,000 agents that went through.
Wow.
And I think it was a lost opportunity at the time for our realtors here in between in Port St. Lucie.
Right.
That I was the only person really from Port St. Lucie that went, but this year I think we're going to have like 6 because I came back and I started to talk to about it.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. Awesome. Great. Well, now, last but not least, we saved the best for last, Scott.
The youngest.
I appreciate that.
We saved the best for last. And so we have Mr. Scott McAllister. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Tom. I'm really excited. This is actually a chance for me to get back on the radio.
Yeah,
I did
some
that
radio
back in the late '90s, and I missed it, and it's something I'm really glad to be back involved.
Back in the really radio voice days.
Exactly. Saturdays.
Yeah.
Okay. But talking about education and what everyone else was saying, following up. I mean, I really grew up in the business. My family moved to Florida after the blizzard of '78. My dad drove home from work and said, I am never doing this again. Packed up the family and started building homes down in Florida. And my mom got into real estate just to save him on commissions. but seemed to be really good at it. And then she started selling other houses. And I was a little kid, 10 years old, so I got dragged around all the open houses. I learned all the terminology. I learned how to, the glad handing, how to say nice things about everything. No, the kitchen's really cozy. It's not small. I learned the art of euphemism at a very young age.
Is that like, well, what does she look like? Well, she's got a great personality.
Exactly. And, so, followed around at my mom's heels, and after I got out of college, I decided I wanted to follow in family business and got into real estate for 4 or 5 years before the radio bug bit me.
Nice.
And it was a great time. Unfortunately, Jack Cole, the host of the show, he passed away, and I ended up moving to Chicago and lived there for 15 years and really, really loved the city and loved the lifestyle. But my family's down here. My roots were down here for so long. I decided to move back in April, and I came down to live here in Stewart, and just absolutely loving it, especially when I'm watching the Weather Channel about what's going on up north.
Yeah, can you see that?
It was colder.
Negative.
It was colder in Chicago last night than it was in Anchorage, Alaska, and for the first time ever in Chicago, the bars closed early.
Wow.
That never happens in a city like Chicago.
Not at all. Well, awesome. Well, it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, we have an absolute great panel of realtors here with us with a lot of experience. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus every week on topics that are hot in the industry. Now, we have a lot of partners that are going to be with us, and we're going to go ahead and take our first quick break, and you're going to hear from some of our partners, but I'm going to talk a little bit about them when we come back. You're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. I'm Tom Platania, your host. 772-220-9788 if you'd like to call with questions or comments.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home, wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stewart, and online at stewartdecorator.com. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jupiter, and Indiantown, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, and we have our great realtors in the studio with us, as you can see if you're watching. Now, you can go to TREUradio.com. That's TREU radio.com, and if you're in there right now, you can actually get a look at all four of those great looking realtors, especially the one in the middle there, between the two older guys. But so, we started thinking of the show, and we started thinking, there's a billion and one topics in real estate that we could talk about. Like right now, what are some of the big things? I think mortgages have completely just gone out of control right now, haven't they?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think the mortgages, and I know we're going to have, we have some partners that are working with us. And, what we decided to do is, we're all experts in our field. You guys are expert realtors, right? You know how to find good clients. You know how to show them the houses. You know how to, find out what their wants and needs are to find the right house. But, after that all happens, there's a lot of other people that have to be involved in the process to make it work. And that's one of the major reasons we had that huge housing crash. Andrew, you were here during that crash. What was the big thing that you saw during that as a realtor?
Well, at that time, I just came into the business in 2005.
Okay.
So it was kind of at its peak at that time, and then declined really rapid.
Right.
But what I saw was, people just getting in these homes, 250, 300,000, 350,000, and they made the payments seem so low. It's like, wow, I can afford that, and even though a lot of people knew it was a stretch. And they got themselves in these homes that, knowingly in this, if you've been around this area for a long time, you knew that those lots that we were buying for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, all of a sudden jumped up to 100,000. You said, this can't last.
Right.
And people were just buying and flipping and making 20, 30,000 in a matter of 30, 60, 90 days.
Right.
And it just couldn't sustain, but it was almost like a feeding frenzy. And then you've got, everyone wanted to be the investor.
Yeah.
And what happened was there was a lot of companies out there that were making it very, very easy. I'm not going to mention any names, but very easy to purchase multiple homes with $1,000 down. You can buy 10 homes if you had $10,000.
Oh my gosh.
And they would start building them, and you would sell them and make a profit even before they were complete. So it was just craziness, just real craziness. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just came to a halt. And
now, Carol, Farouk, now you guys were both, hot and heavy in the market well before then. Right. And what did you notice as a big change from before the peak to during the peak and after the peak? What did you see?
Well, being in the mortgage business for me, the bubble had to pop.
Yeah.
I was back in the mortgage business back in the 80s when the market fell. And fortunately, the East Coast wasn't affected by the fall of the market as bad as the West Coast was.
West Coast of Florida or West Coast
West
of
Coast of the United States.
Oh, it wasn't?
It wasn't. We weren't tapped so bad here as they were out west.
Oh, wow.
And people didn't learn from that, unfortunately, and neither did the mortgage lenders learn from that, the people who created the mortgage loans. And they just made it so easy to do the financing. The no-doc loans, the no-income verification loans, taking the ratios up so high.
How could you have a no-income verification for something? I can understand.
It was called the Liars Program.
Yeah, I can understand if you're going, like they have these programs now for the cell phone. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a $50 a month. But for a place that's thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, no income verification.
No income,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody has to live within their means. And being a mom and a grandmother, I was very cognizant when young people would come to me and say, I would like this $400,000 house. They tell me I can afford it. They tell me I can qualify for it.
Yeah, I just became shift manager at McDonald's, so I'm getting a raise.
It's the me generation. The real me generation was I want it all now.
Yeah.
And
I don't think I've gotten out of that yet.
I would sit and I would look at them and I would say, I'm going to tell you guys, if you were my kids,
yeah,
I'd tell you no.
See, that's the difference.
Yes.
That is the difference right there from you guys and some of the other people that are out there in this
Right.
industry.
And I can honestly say in 25 years, to my knowledge today, I only ever had 2 homes while I was in the business that ever went into foreclosure.
Wow.
And
That's
both of
awesome.
them were off of stated income. And with that being said, a lot of times I would just turn people away and say, guys, you have to live within your means. I'm going to see you back here in 2
Yeah.
years, and we're going to be trying to sell that house because you've lost it to foreclosure.
And you'd rather lose the sale
Right.
than to lead people down a bad
Oh,
and see,
definitely.
that's, when I took and I'm only new. I mean, I'm not even a full year into this business, so I can't sit there and talk to you guys about this, but I know one thing is when I did my training, ethics was just, I mean, they crammed
That's right.
ethics down your throat, but with all these people doing these unethical things, it's like, wait a minute, maybe you should go back to start reading these ethics classes again. And having a better policing, because it's horrible what you see out there.
It is terrible.
Yeah. How about you, Farouk? I mean, you were in it for a while.
Yeah, well, one of the things that it was a false sense of security for a lot of folks
Yeah.
as well, because one of the things that the builders and everybody was talking about was giving that false equity, that the property is going to be appreciating so much
Yeah.
in such a short time. And then we had the people that also credit was not good, and they figure if they stay in the home for a year or 2 years, they can fix their credit, they'll be able to refinance. And one of the things they were telling people was that you can take that money out, buy another house, and go on and on. And then, the economy went the way it went, and the next thing you know, people were losing their jobs left, right, and center. They couldn't pay their mortgages anymore.
Right.
And it became very, very difficult,
Unreal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We have a great group of realtors here, and every week we're going to be talking about different topics that have to do with the real estate industry, buying, selling, investing in your home, just little things that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, or even if you've already purchased a home, and there's little things. We have folks that are going to partner with us, such as we have Kimberly Perrin, who is with Decorating Den. So, maybe like what you're talking about, Carol, you want to live within your means. So you buy a house that doesn't have that tile floor or the beautiful furnishings that come with it, but you get something that's a little bit within your means, and then you turn around and you bring Kimberly in to really change it for you, to make it that home that you had envisioned originally, without having to put yourself in debt with something you truly can't afford.
Right.
You know?
And sometimes it's, you're better off to use somebody like Kimberly due to the fact that as a novice, you don't know all of the angles in order to be able to get somebody to come in and do it reasonably. And if you're going to try and do it yourself, you can be out there and try and do it 2 and 3 times and spend triple the amount of money you would have Kimberly do it.
Yeah, exactly. She was on my other show, Cover Time Live, and some of the stuff that she was talking to me about, I was like, you mean you can actually paint a room a different color and make it look bigger?
Absolutely.
She was like, yeah. And then we have other folks, you want to protect your investment. We have folks like Richard Stratman from ADT, and with Protect Security Company, and so you're purchasing the home, and maybe you can't afford to have one with some super duper. Well, then you get Richard to come in, and you have Richard do it. So Richard is going to be one of our partners, and then also, while you're in the purchasing process, the selling or purchasing, because home inspections have to be done either way, right?
Definitely.
And that's, it's mandatory, isn't it?
Well,
Yes.
it's not that it's mandatory,
No.
but we strongly tell these people, we recommend that I remember selling new homes, and people say, well, we don't need a home inspection on new construction. Well, that's not necessarily true.
And I know that for being in the
That's
construction
right.
industry
That's
for 28
So
years.
I tell people that's the best investment you could make, is to pay that amount and have them go through the house, because there's a lot of things that you and I walk through the home, or we look at all the beautiful things, and the customers are, the granite countertops, the stainless steel appliances, but there's termites, or
Yeah.
there's issues in wiring and plumbing and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
Before, when the house was being built, they left the walls wide open, the drywall sitting outside,
Yeah.
didn't let it dry quick enough, went ahead and put the drywall and stuff up, and then you got mold and stuff growing
Right.
in. Brand spanking new house. There's no way I can have mold. It's brand new.
Tom,
I've used House Masters for years,
Excellent.
since I first started in the business, and And John is just amazing. He's full of knowledge, and he's just a great guy to go through the home. And he's not an alarmist, and he's not going to scare you, but he's going to give you the correct information and tell you what he finds and what he suggests that be done. So he's a great guy.
Yeah, Andrew, I remember years ago when I was recommending people to do home inspections, the other realtor, the other end, used to be annoyed with me because they're saying, you're going to kill our deal. But I said, no, we're not killing the deal. You want the buyer to know what it is they're buying. If you coach them the right way, you want them to know that, their boiler, their furnace, how much longer it's going to last. How long, if there's any problems with their plumbing, electrical, and so they can know what it is they need to fix as they go ahead.
And if you're hiding something from me as the realtor because you don't want me to find out, then I don't want to work with you to begin with.
Correct.
So I'm going to have house masters come in, and I'm going to have them do a full inspection, because if you are fibbing to me about what's going on, I'm going to know about it. So, and that's probably what happens. There's a lot of people, they hide stuff, and if you don't see it, right? Is that what happens sometimes with sellers? You come up. Yeah, they're not going to tell you that the air conditioner is 23 years old, and if you don't know what to look for, that's the great thing about the home inspection.
They need to know the lifespan of the appliances and stuff they have.
But I mean, as a good realtor, you should know that. I mean, I don't know about the real estate agents, but I go out and I look at the air conditioning and look for the tags on them to find what year it was installed.
The key word, good.
Yes.
Good, ethical. And you construction business, right, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the construction business around my dad, in the real estate business with my mom, so I saw both sides of it, and I loved the fact that I grew up in a very ethical family and was told that you're better off making a customer than making a sale.
Yep.
You're going to make a customer for life.
Right.
We've got people that we've sold 15 of their family members to, because we were more concerned about educating using the E and the education. And part of these things is, somebody might say, go use the cheapest person, or go use, no, you're going to use the person that's going to do the best job. And part of the education that we provide as realtors are who those people are.
Right.
You as a buyer don't know all of these people. We network with these people. We work with these people on a daily basis. So we know which ones are ethical and which ones to recommend.
They're partners with us for a reason.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way that we are going to, just like any other stuff that we do, no way we're going to promote or recommend somebody that we know is going to come back and hurt our business.
Absolutely.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be insane. We also have other people. Well, everybody has to have homeowners insurance. That one, there is no way around that.
No.
You have to have it. So we have Mary Beth. Mary Beth, wonderful woman with Atlantic Insurance Advisors, is also one of our partners, and you'll hear her ads on the show. Well, obviously, in order to get into the home, what do you have to do? You have to go from one place to the other. Well, how do you do that? Well, you either ruin 2 weeks worth of time packing everything up, putting it into a U-Haul truck that you spent some obscene amount of money for, and they made you sign this waiver for your own insurance policy, or you give Mr. Small Move. Now, don't let his name fool you. They'll move anything. In fact, Mike Fox with Mr. Small Move is actually coming out to my place at 1 o'clock today. I'm actually changing in the same community I'm living in. I've been in a one-bedroom apartment, and when I moved there, they had a one-bedroom with a nice den, and I wanted to set up my radio studio in there. Well, I couldn't, so now my radio studio is in my living room. So now that they have one available, so I'm just moving like 5 doors down. So Mike's going to come on out and help me. But anybody buying, selling a home, it's definitely something that they should consider. And they're going to be partners, and we're going to hear from them next week. Next week on our show, next Thursday from 10 to 11, we're going to have our partners on. They're going to just give a quick, brief intro, and then as the weeks go on, we're going to have them on to kind of talk more in depth, and have them also stand by. So if we have a caller that wants to call in 772-220-9788 and they want to ask a question, well, as ethical realtors, there's only certain questions that you guys can answer.
Correct.
Or want to answer. So we have the professionals. So if they're standing by and they hear a call, they can call in and they can give the professional advice. And then, last but not least, well, you can't get a home typically unless you really got a lot of cash in your pocket. We got Fidelity Funding. We have a mortgage corporation. We got Chris Flannery, who is not Flannery.
Flaherty.
I know a guy named Kevin Flannery. That's what I said. Sorry about that, Chris. from Fidelity Funding Mortgage, and a great group of people. I think everybody here uses them.
Yeah, very, very good, very ethical. And the thing I like about Chris is, Chris will go through the whole gamut. I mean, he'll sit down with people and, it may take an hour or an hour and a half. But, when Chris gives us a call and says, hey, these people are good to go, or, hey, these people have a couple of issues, I've put them on the path to fix up credit or whatever, and, keep track of them and follow up with them, but they'll be ready in about 6 months as long as they follow what I'm telling them. So even if they don't qualify, he'll put them on the path to righteousness.
Nice. Does just throw them out the door.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, sorry you don't qualify. Go on down the street to the
exactly.
next guy.
And he's very, very ethical guy. Awesome. And all of these partners that we have as sponsors, I mean, not only do a lot of, I've used every one of them, and I also have used them in my personal life.
Nice.
My homes, my family's homes. So, we believe in these people. These people are true. They're very ethical, and they do the job that they're supposed to do.
Excellent.
And we couldn't be successful without them.
No, absolutely. You have to. It's a team effort.
Absolutely.
It's a team effort, and even other realtors. You have other realtors, but you have to have partners like this that you can trust and depend on. When I have my own businesses, unfortunately, you had some of your employees that would slip and fall through a ceiling. When I had my air conditioning company, it happened. These guys are up there, it's 140 degrees, they're dripping sweat, they're crawling across an attic, and they slip and go through. Well, you know what? I need to have a drywall and a painter just ready and waiting for me that I can call them and say, hey, I need you over there. But you got to have somebody that you can trust and can do a great job, and I think that's where each of these folks. You're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We have our great panel of realtors with us, Scott McAllister, Farouk Ali, Carol Morgan, and Mr. Andrew Sesta. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to chit-chat a little bit more about what's happening in the industry. 772-220-9788.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home? Wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at stewartdecorator.com. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding.
You are listening to WSTU, Stewart. Jupiter, and Indiantown. Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, TREU Radio. And don't forget, you can go to TREUradio.com. Now remember, because we're going to educate you folks so much, we put the E first in the word TREU. So TREU radio.com. Now when you go there, you're going to see the video and audio on the left-hand side at the top of the screen. On the right-hand side, there'll be a chat room, which we'll have up and running for you next show. But you'll also be able to go back and watch all the archives. So as shows continue, they automatically transition over to get the archives. And this way, folks will be able to go back and watch any show. Like if we have Fidelity Funding on and we have a great mortgage show and somebody wants to go back and hear about the rates or things of that nature, they can go back to that. And we'll have the nice titles on the show. Now, on that website, TREUradio.com, right below that is a picture of all of our realtors. And what you can do is below is their name. You can click on each of their names, and that goes to their own page, which has a great bio about each of the realtors here. So you guys and your friends, your family, your possible clients can go there and really get a good feel for who you are. Go back and listen to some of the shows, and we talked about, to really see who your personality is and to hear who you are and who you're about. And now you can't see me because I guess when you're looking at the video, I guess you call me the Wizard of Oz and the man behind the screen. So that's kind of cool how we got that set up. So you hear somebody talking, but you see 4 people in the studio, and well, actually 5 because you see Mike there a little bit. You know, Mike is truly the wizard behind the scenes.
I need a curtain.
You need a curtain. I I would put money into that because if we could just put that right up here, Mike, I would really, that would really help.
Just block it. Just right around me.
Yeah, just right around. Oh, that's funny. So right now in the real estate market, what is the hot thing happening right now in the market? What's going? Is it? Inventory. I heard prices are going down, right? Is that no? Prices are going up.
Going up, but the inventory has gone down.
Now, why is that? Why would
it's
inventory?
Supply and demand.
So the higher I raise the price, I see what you're saying. So if there's less inventory, as a seller,
increase.
I can charge more for the house.
It changes from a buyer's market to a seller's market.
There you go.
No inventory.
And right now is a seller's market. I see. So if you're thinking of selling your house, now will be an absolute fabulous.
Absolutely the best time right now to sell a house.
Yeah, and obviously, if they're going to sell. Now, do you find when people are selling homes in South Florida, do you find that they're staying in South Florida, or do you find that they're moving up north? And any one of you guys, you can just jump around any time. What do you see more?
It's more the reverse to that.
It is.
Yeah, we have people that because obviously the wonderful climate that we live in, this is really truly paradise, and because of that, we got more people gravitating to Florida, and they're choosing different areas.
All right.
So realtors throughout Florida have a great opportunity to assist buyers in finding their dream home.
But if I'm a seller and I live in Florida, I'm selling a home here locally. Do you find that they're rebuying here locally? Or do you find that they're moving to Chicago, or what's the Colorado now? Yeah, Colorado is the place to move to now, isn't it?
I guess if you have the medical issues, for some reason people like to move up there. But a lot of our customers are actually just moving up in size.
Oh, okay.
They're finding, because they're seeing the prices going up,
right.
So they want to buy now. But they are also afraid that the mortgage industry, no one knows exactly where it's going to go.
Okay.
So it's a really good time where people are like, hey, you know what? If I have the money to buy now and I want to upgrade and get a bigger place, I'm going to sell my place for a good price.
Right.
And then turn around and get myself a bigger home. Right. Maybe either for family or they just want to entertain more.
Is that what you guys are saying too?
Yeah, we kind of see the same thing. Most people, once they get here, kind of stay here. But they'll start off in a smaller house or a certain area, and then they'll live here for a while, or work takes them to a different area.
Right.
So they'll move for those reasons. I remember a few years back, a lot of people started moving to Georgia and Tennessee, and all that because
Tennessee was the place.
Yeah, it was the place to go.
And you could get property there like
very
half
reasonably.
half the cost.
But what a lot of people didn't realize is they bought for a good price, but they got up there and there's no work.
Yeah.
So
That's
a
why
lot
it's
of
so
them,
cheap.
yeah, a lot of them ended up coming back down here to Florida, and so we ended up putting them back into a home.
So it's nice. Hey, you know, they were your seller, then they were your buyer again.
I think the sad ones are is when you have clients that you've sold houses to over the years, and now they have to go move back north to stay with their family. That happens.
Yes, that's another thing.
That
Yes.
happens down here in Florida. I mean, as
And
we
why
get
are they-
older,
I
had that
we
happen.
age. You
They
know.
moving back because of the age?
Their age,
Okay.
and they need to be closer to family. It's time that they start needing some help. And
We don't have a lot of people over 55 in South Florida, do we?
Just a couple.
just a
No,
few.
not at all.
Mhm.
No gated communities for their retirement
Yeah.
communities or anything.
I had two of my clients move back last year for the reason of going back to want to take care of their grandkids.
Yep.
Yes.
So that they can give their kids the opportunity to go out and work and not have to worry about who's taking care of their kids.
Right.
So the grandparents came back into play, and
Right.
because the market was low as the way it was then, it was not the right thing for them to put the property in the market to sell it. So I ended up managing the property, and so and these properties are both free and clear. So these folks don't have mortgages either.
Right.
So you know, people move for different reasons.
But for the most part, that's a small percentage.
small percentage,
Most of the
yeah.
people are, come here, they stay here.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people from the Miami area, Fort Lauderdale area that kind of want to get out of the hustle and bustle.
Oh yeah, it is.
You know,
It
a lot
is
of
so hectic down there.
And Martin County is nice in the way that it's very close. You could be within 25, 30-minute drive
Yeah.
and still come home to peaceefulness.
Especially with that new bridge.
Yes.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, that
The
new
Indian
oh,
Street
is that
Bridge is awesome.
that is? I mean, I live off Indian Street, so I make a left on Indian Street, and I don't have to go through the downtown traffic or nothing
Yep.
like that. Boom, right over it to Palm City, and
That's
it's
nice.
beautiful. Yeah, I love it. It's a gorgeous bridge to walk too, especially with the way the weather's been.
It's almost
Yes.
turned to a park area over here.
Yeah, yeah. When you get on the other side, it really is.
Yeah,
Well,
you
those
don't
are
see
our
that with the Palm
monuments.
City Bridge, but the Indian Street Bridge, they did a wonderful design on
Yeah.
that one, so it gave people full use of the bridge.
Yeah.
And speaking of the bridge with the water, the wide water that you have here, we did when I was with my mother down in Boca. We did oceanfront, multi-million-dollar mansions, and they can't compare to what you can get up here. Even just you have these wide water views that almost look like you're looking at the ocean.
Right.
We get a lot of people moving from Boca, kind of getting tired of
Right.
the Boca lifestyle and moving up to a laid back but still very high end communities up here.
Yeah, there is. You go to certain places. There's some nice,
Oh, yeah.
beautiful restaurants.
Oh, yes.
High-end restaurants that are just gorgeous. I mean, I love eating out. I mean, and not that you can tell from my waistline either, but I just love trying new restaurants and the new cuisines and the and you see different people and it,
We've grown a lot. Martin County has grown a lot
But
in
it's
years.
been
I can remember
controlled
back
growth,
when
right?
I lived back here in the 80s. You can literally, in the summertime, you could have rolled a bowling ball down the road and not hit anything.
oh wow.
But
But it's
that doesn't
controlled
happen
growth
today.
in
Yeah,
Martin
It
County.
is.
Martin County's always been a controlled
Yeah.
growth, and I think that's why when the bubble burst, it wasn't as bad as in other areas. So it's more controlled, and the A-rated school system. People flock here from all over.
They do.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, the schools here are awesome. So yeah.
Awesome. Now, Scott, with you being in the construction, do you see a different when you're going out to look at a house with a client? Do you get more into that portion of it with them, or do you kind of leave that to the inspector?
Well, I don't. You have to be careful what you say.
Okay.
Obviously, that's why we talk about the experts we know. We recommend the experts to people, but it does give me an insight into remodeling to a extent where somebody's like, "Oh, this is going to cost me $40,000 to put a new kitchen in here." I'm like, "No, it's not. I can't give you a quote, but I can tell you it's not going to be $40,000."
Right.
And what's great is I've utilized my father a few times, brought him along on inspections before, and someone pointed out, well, there's this problem with the door hinge, and my dad's fixing it while the inspector's in the other room. So, he's
That's
coming.
awesome.
It's coming real handy to have
That's-
that in my
that's
family.
teamwork. Would you like to have one of those,
Yes,
Andrew?
definitely.
Yeah, you got a contract in his pocket.
Definitely, yeah.
Awesome.
And he doesn't charge me, which is the best part.
your brother too, right?
Yep, my brother's in it, and he actually just joined our real estate team now too.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this has been an absolutely great first show. We've got a lot of great information. You've had an opportunity to really get to know, and you're going to have weeks and weeks and weeks every Thursday right here on WSTU 1450. But don't forget, this show is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. make sure you contact us through TREUradio.com, and we'll be able to guide you in the right direction and help you find it. And you know, these ladies and gentlemen are here to help you find whether you're buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and help guide you right down in the right direction. So, Scott McAllister, Farouk Ali, Carol Morgan, Andrew Sesta, I want to thank you folks, and we're going to be back here next Thursday, bright and early, probably less stressed out than we are today. But one thing we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is at the end of every show, we are going to provide some great words of wisdom by one of the people who has taught me many things over the years, Mr. Zig Ziglar. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. Thanks a lot for listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, True Radio. We'll see you next Thursday at 10 o'clock.